morning, everybody. It is Thursday, May 19th. Today is my Parsons Communication Design Program ceremony and I am graduating. I knew that I wanted to vlog commencement and getting ready with me. I am a fourth year, last semester student, and I major in communication design and minor in photography. I have just been at Parsons for the longest time. It feels like an eternity because I took some time off in between. I just did some yoga and I am going to get ready. I just made a smoothie. Right now, I have no makeup on. I did my nails yesterday. I wanted to paint them white because apparently, traditionally, I didn't know this, but for graduation, you're supposed to wear all white. I was honestly too busy to even really think about graduation, but now that it's literally today and tomorrow, I kind of don't have a choice. So I did some self-care yesterday, put on a face mask, did my nails. Right now, it is so gloomy outside, it's rainy. This is just not nice weather. So I thought that it would be really interesting and fun if I spent this get ready with me and answering any general questions that people might have about going to Parsons and my whole college experience. Also, I just applied my SK2 primer. For my foundation, I'm going to be using the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. If you are interested in following my journey, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. How did I start and why did I apply to Parsons? First of all, I actually did not go to Parsons from the very start. I actually transferred from Stony Brook University, which is a math and science school on Long Island, and I was studying sociology at the time. I had not really an interest in sociology for the long term. I knew that I wanted to transfer after my first year regardless. Growing up and all throughout high school, photography was my thing. That was my background. I took every photo class that I could that my high school offered me. I was really into film photography and I spent a lot of time in the darkroom. I just was really scared at the time because I wasn't sure if photography was a viable career path for me because I was really young and no one around me in school really applied to Parsons. I actually had no idea what Parsons really was at the time because it just wasn't talked about a lot and I just didn't have any friends near me that went there. I actually had thought about going to California. That was always my dream in high school. After the whole college application process, I actually applied to 18 colleges. I was crazy. I only got into 2. That was just a very low point at the time because I just felt like such a reject and all these people around me were going to Ivy League school. I ended up going to Stony Brook and it was really important looking back at it to have had that first foundational year to really figure out what I was interested in and passionate about and then transfer, because if I just went straight into Parsons, I don't think I would have been the same person that I am today. If you're looking to transfer after your first year, I would say do it because you really never know how much your life and your career path can change. I am going to go into with my Laura Mercier powder. What actually made me apply to Parsons was I was looking at schools that I could have applied to if I wanted to stay in New York, and I knew that I loved New York City. Even when I was in high school, I would always spend my weekends taking the train into the city, going to the MoMA. I just felt like I belonged there. I looked into Parsons, really actually not knowing how prestigious it is, also on a worldwide scale. I just knew that it was an art and design school in New York City, and I had just Googled best art and design schools to apply to. Okay, now I'm gonna go in and do my brows. I have the Maybelline Brow Wiz and my Anastasia Brow Dip Pomade. Ultimately, in the end, I ended up applying to 3 different schools to transfer to: USC, Parsons, and NYU. I ended up actually getting into USC, but for the spring semester and for Asian American Studies, which wasn't what I wanted. I applied to their art and design school as well. And then for Parsons, I was actually waitlisted. So I had to really push to get in. I had to send another email really vouching for myself. And in the end, they ended up accepting me. I had gotten into USC and Parsons. I had to really weigh my pros and cons, and USC was my dream school at the time, but in the end, I felt long term, Parsons would have benefited me a lot, like in terms of my career and like staying in New York City and like just thinking about like the art and design industry and the fashion industry as well. So at Parsons, I had to repeat my freshman year because the first year is your foundation year and everyone, regardless of your major, has to take all the same classes. Going into Parsons, it was actually a huge transition because Stony Brook and Parsons are completely two different schools. Like I went to a math and science school in the suburbs of Long Island. There's more like clubs at Stony Brook, but at Parsons it was a lot harder to make friends because there wasn't really a big club culture and you're in the middle of Manhattan. So like our school really is just like a few buildings. Also, me being a photography background and having to do all these foundational classes where I had no experience in, like I had to draw nude people and like I had to make like wood sculptures. There were a lot of times in like first year where you're thinking like, why am I doing this? Like, what's the point? I think Parsons does that because they want to drill the discipline in you. They want to really squeeze everything out of you that first year. They also want to like weed out the people that aren't serious about art and design. It really is a big slap in the face of like, this is art and design school and this is not fun and games. Like this is a real working environment. If you're just here to have fun, like this is not the place for you. I'm going to do my eyeshadow now. I'm going in with the Modern Renaissance palette. I've had this palette for like years. I'm gonna do this color. You can see I already hit the pan. I try to keep freshman year short and simple. It was where I met a lot of my close friends. Got to experience living in the city for the first time on my own. Moving on into second year. So second year is when you start your actual major. It is when the real shit really hits the fan. Before second year starts, you're actually allowed to switch your major. For the top shade, I'm gonna use my Naked 3 palette. This color right here. So in the second year, some people go into Parsons undecided. So the foundation year is also for the people that are like really unsure of what they want to do to like figure out what they want to do through all the different classes that you're taking. It's actually really, really common for people to change their majors after first year. So me being a photography background major, I thought about long-term again and like thought about what I would want to see myself with a career. So I still thought like, I don't know if I can do photography full-time. And so I was looking into all their different majors and I saw comm design and I was like, what is this? Like, this is really cool. And comm design really encompasses like a bunch of different areas. There's web design, editorial layout design, motion graphics, like a ton of stuff. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And this is the stuff I actually like looking at in my spare time. And I just didn't even realize it was comm design. Now I'm going to curl my lashes and put on mascara. This is the Heroin, like that Japanese mascara that everyone uses. The most rigorous like part of the program. You're learning skills like coding and layout design and like the foundations of like typography. I just remember being stressed all the time. I was in school literally all the time. I didn't have a social life. I lived really close to school second year. I lived literally down the street from school. I was lucky enough to live in East Village, which like ironically is the most like hot spot of New York City. It's where like all the college kids hang out at and go out, and you know, the nightlife there is really nice. But in second year, even though I lived literally in that area, I never left my apartment because I was just doing work all the time and it was rough. But I think looking back at it, I learned a lot about myself and like the discipline and the major. Next, I'm going to go in with my bronzer. This is the Fenty Beauty In the Sun. And I really love this bronzer because it gives me kind of like a natural bronzy look and it's not too heavy. Parsons can also get a bit competitive. There will always be people that will help you out for sure. It's just like this like atmosphere of like slight competitiveness. It really depends on like your program because some programs in Parsons are smaller than others. CED is I think one of the larger ones. Moving on into third year, it gets kind of like messy because this is basically where the pandemic like hits the timeline. First fall semester of third year, I went crazy because I just partied my ass off because I think like in second year, because I was so disciplined and I like never went out and I didn't have a social life and I was just working all the time, I just kind of went insane and I really wanted to like de-stress. And classes finally like lightened up a bit because we had just gone through like the most rigorous year. Now I am going to do my highlighter. This is the Anastasia Glow Kit. I think I'm gonna go with this pink color, and I also like this color as well, but Sometimes I do both. I just like kind of dab a bit. I always remember in my memory that like fall semester, it was like my like peak of like my college years because I had a really good social life. I was going out all the time. I was still doing really well in classes, and I had just gotten an internship at the Rubin Museum. And I also just like had so much energy thinking back at it. Like I had no idea thinking now like how I juggled like 5 or 6 classes while doing this internship, while like going out every weekend and like being hungover and still going to class. I also had just joined my dance team outside of school. Like I had a really just like well-balanced, I feel like, life at the time. Within this time, you can pick like, there's a class called Topics in CD, which you can like pick your pathway within comm design. And I picked branding because I was really interested in like how a brand works and like maybe possibly interning for like a brand agency down the line. It really taught me a lot about just like design and how important design is in branding and like how it makes a company look like. So now I'm going to go in with my Georgia Benefit blush. This is kind of like a bronzy blush, and I think it like goes really well with Indocun. Then my second semester of my 3rd year, I ended up studying abroad in London at CSM, Central St. Martin's. I'd always wanted that study abroad experience, and because I had transferred from Stony Brook, I had a lot of credits already that just like gave me a lot of freer time in my schedule. So all I really had to do was make up like 2 classes if I came back from study abroad. So essentially, I really didn't even need the credits from study abroad. I just wanted to experience it because I knew I would never get this time again. Oh my gosh, I am so proud of myself that I actually finished my makeup on camera. Lastly, I'm going in with my new Dior lipstick that I got on sale recently. Very moisturizing. Okay, so that is my makeup look for my comm design graduation. Lastly, I'm gonna go in with my 2 setting sprays. I got the Mario Badescu Rose Water, and then I'm gonna go in with the Urban Decay Mist Setting Spray. That kind of just like locks everything in. That is my makeup look. I am going to get dressed now. I'm thinking about curling my hair as well. But I am not done talking about my experience. I did not expect it to take this long. My study abroad experience actually got cut short a bit, like about a month before it was supposed to end. I had to just go home. So this is when shit really hit the fan. Like I left London literally like a day in advance of like finding out I had to leave. This is when COVID was at its peak. It was scary, it was havoc, no one knew what was going on, and it just felt like the most safest thing was to just go back home to New York. In my delusional mind, somehow in the middle of this pandemic that summer, I still thought like I could have a chance, school would be back in person, I'm gonna graduate with my friends, and none of that happened. Like everything was still remote. I was losing hope, and the pandemic was not getting better. And that's when I decided to take my gap year in Taiwan. So after the 2 years, after coming back from Taiwan, a bit earlier as well because of the pandemic, like I was literally just like running away from the pandemic at this point. School, definitely 4th year, I kind of just hit like a decline. I didn't care as much anymore, like as much as that sounds really bad. It was just really rough to readjust, and I was also going through some things personally. Thesis, that's the main part of 4th year. Like that is what you're concentrating on, that is what your main focus is on to relate to design in some way. And 1st year, you're doing a lot of research for thesis, but like I felt like it was not that important because it's just a lot of like time of you stressing out being like, what do I want to do for thesis? And I ended up making a book about Flushing. It's called From Flushing. It was book design. Okay, so I have on my dress now. It is from Aritzia. I have not worn this ever since I bought it, so I guess this is a good event to do it for. Oh my god, I haven't curled my hair in a long time. I feel like even though I finished talking about my experience, I also want to talk about like what I learned from Parsons and what it taught me. This curler I got literally when I was in like middle school, and it's not the best. It's actually one of the cheapest curlers you can get, but it does the job. My biggest takeaways of going to Parsons is, 1, you need to have discipline, you need to work hard. Nothing comes easy. It also really shows in your work if you BS something. 2, I think you need to have really thick skin. The critiques that you have are harsh. You will cry. It's hard. You will feel like sometimes that you are at your lowest points, but I think at the end of the day, it really builds character. It really teaches you work ethic, and your whole perception on the world just changes. Feel like I can never look at something the same way again, because my mind is kind of just like ingrained in like seeing everything as design and also like little details of everything. Parsons also teaches you professionalism. Teaches you to like really go for your career and get that professional experience. Although that's always just been me as a person, I love learning things and I just like can't stay still, and I always want to be doing something. I feel like summers where I like don't have something lined up, I'm just really bored at home doing nothing, and I'd rather just be like learning something. Go for anything, even if it's unpaid. You'll learn so much and it will really benefit you like down the line. And having all these experiences also teaches you what you want to do in the future or like don't want to do. Reflecting on my Parsons experience, I learned so much about myself and it literally changed my life. I know that sounds so cliche, but I made it and we here. Okay, so that is the finished graduation look. This is actually not even for commencement. This is just for the book launch and CD programs. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my get ready with me and my experience, and talk to you guys soon. Hey guys, so I'm actually currently at school and we got here a little bit early, but I actually ended up changing my dress to this like pantsuit because I realized that the color and the cut of my dress was just so not appropriate for the celebration. I don't really know what I was thinking. I feel like it looked like I was going out to the club. This, on the other hand, matches my hair better, matches my nails, and just really elegant. Everyone, so I look kind of crazy right now because I currently am about to do my makeup. It is like 9:30 in the morning. Today it is commencement and the weather today is awesome. Finally, yesterday it was like really gloomy, but then the sun ended up coming out. I don't have any makeup on right now, but I actually already went ahead and curled my hair, so that's why my hair is in a clip. I don't know, I just wanted to ensure that it would stay curly. I used a different curling iron this time. And it's actually in Flushing. I am so lucky. It's at Arthur Ashe Stadium, so I actually only have to literally drive 6 minutes down the street to get there. So I'm not rushing at all. I just wake up early. Also, my parents are coming from Long Island and my brother is just flew in from LA. He'll be staying over for a few days. And then we're going off on a family vacation. So I'm just like trying to get into the graduation spirit, and it's commencement, y'all. I'm actually really excited because I've been waiting for this for so long. So this is the dress. I really like it when I tried it on because this skirt is kind of tight but not really, and then this like shirt collar detail. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to iron my gown, but I ended up ripping a hole in the gown. And this is so big and I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I asked my mom to bring a sewing kit later so she can help me sew it up, but so much for spending like $60 on this. I I can't believe this happened. Okay, guys, I just finished putting on my makeup. I am not running late. I don't know why I'm stressed, but it's 11 a.m. and commencement starts at 11:30, so I think I'm gonna head out now. I have my Pandora earrings and I'm wearing the outfit. This dress is from And Other Stories, and I'm gonna wear my JW Payback. Yeah, I really like this dress. I'm probably gonna keep it, and I'm ready to graduate. My mom came and she's sewing up my gown now, so thankfully there won't be a hole in it anymore. All right, let's go to commencement.